Hi, everyone. Welcome to Artistic Digitizer, Basics and Beyond. I'm Anne Hein, Embroidery Software Specialist for Janome America. And let me take this away and we'll get that started right here. Today, we're talking about clip art, and there's lots of places out on the web you can get clip art. You can actually, scan something in and use that as like clip art. There's clip art in the software as well. So there's lots of places. So I'm going to show you a few things with working with clip art. Pretty much it's like working with a graphic, they're all in the same kind of thing. Photos, graphics, clip art, kind of the same thing. And the difference is what file format they are. Are they SVG? Are they PNG? Are they JPEGs, bitmaps, things like that? And that all matters when you bring it into the program, and they come in different ways. And I'm going to show you the differences there. So let me get the software up and we'll get that part started. Oh, hang on with that. There we go. And software. There we go. So I have my software open, and it always opens to the welcome page. So from here, you can go to your browser to find things. You can go into your open folder or go to create new. And I'm going to start first with create new, just to show you in your software that up under tools. Now I don't have, sometimes it doesn't show when I'm videoing, the very, very top bar up here, which says File, Edit, View, and Tools. When you click on Tools, you have this other window where it says Insert Symbol and Clip Art Library. So Insert Symbol takes you into your fonts where you have the webdings, wingdings, these kind of things up here. So you can grab something from here, and I've used these quite a bit, so you've seen me do this. You select one, click Insert, click and drag, and then you have your graphic there to work with, and then you could do whatever you want with that. Also in there, you may have some dingbat fonts. So let me see if, and here's all my fonts. I don't have to go to my text tool to see these, but I might have a font that is all little characters. I don't know if I have one in here. Let's see what that one looks like. Nope, that has letters. Sometimes they show the little graphics right in here. So I have it. I might not have any in my Mac at the moment. Yeah, I don't see any of those little things. Nope, these are all letters. Okay, but you'll see sometimes they show up with little graphics in here, and then you can choose them, and they come in already as stitches. They can auto convert. I don't know if these are, yeah, these are the same things. Oh, maybe they're up here. Nope, they are not. All right, well, I'm going to let this go, but you'll know when you see them. You would normally have to type like an A to get a design, a B, and so forth. They're connected to the letters. But in my Mac, I can open them up in here and I'm sure I know we can do this the same in a PC under Insert Symbol. So you'd be able to access them here rather than through your letters, your text. The other one that's in here is the clip art library. Now this is called a clip art library, but it's not, these are somewhat already embroidered designs. It's a kind of a easily resized, and you can use a search word down here if you want to do like flower. I'm going to do this little flake here. You select it, you go to insert, again, you click and drag, and there's your design. And let me click off of it. And then you can make changes to this however you like. I can come in here and I can ungroup it, and then I would be able to select different parts, change colors, change the style of stitching over here in my, if I want to make that a step fill, I can change that. Let's make this well, that's an out. Are these coming in as outlines? There's a fill. We're going to make it a step, and then I can make it have a little bit of a pattern on it. So you can make changes in here, resize these, clip things away, take whatever you want on those here. You can also come in here, and if you create a design that you would like to save in the clip art library, you can create a clip art and and save it. And I did a video on that a while back. I'm going to have to go back through and do another one. But you can keep your own clip art in here. And you can see when I first open this, that this is the ones that I've created. Okay, there we go. So we'll come back and I'll show you how to do that in another time. All right, so let's go back. So those are the things that are in the program. You can make all kinds of changes to, but a lot of us, we find things out on the web. And I'm going to go back to my browser because I brought some things over from my PC. So let me see, we'll go here. Let me close this here so we can see. You can see down here, I have my CM17 and my S9 connected. So I can always take a look in here as well if there's a design I want to bring over, if I've saved it to the machine, and then if I want to look at the machine built-in designs, those are right here. So I don't know in my, yeah, that keeps closing on me. I'm not sure why that's happening. But anyways, I'm going to go up into my USB, and I'm going to go right here to April Graphics. So these are things that I found. Some of them, they're the little baby things up here. These come from Daily Art Hub. It's one of my favorite sites. It's really maybe for scrapbooking, but you can use it for many different things. And with this graphic, I have it as an SVG in the blue, a JPEG, and a PNG. So typically, JPEGs are rasters. So when you select one of these, you're going to get this window here, and you can make a decision with what you want to do with it. So we're going to auto digitize it, and I'm going to come down here and click OK. And I'm going to make my accuracy 5. My color limit, this is where I count the colors. And this one has, it does have white there, so I might count that. But 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors, maybe 5 with the white. But if I want to remove that background, I can click here and I can click over here and it'll take the background away. Now, I can do that here because the white is not within my piece. If there's white in there, maybe you're doing something, with white inside your design, it'll take the white out of there as well. So I will remove that afterwards, and I'll show you that as we go. So here we go. We're going to hit trace, and then it'll appear right here. Now, it didn't take those sleeves for some reason, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to go back to my browser, and I'm going to try it again. And I'm just going to auto digitize. I'm not going to remove that white part because I think for some reason it took that part there. So let's say 5 colors again. Maybe I can give it a 6 and we'll see. There, oh, it's not liking those sleeves. That's unusual. But what I have here, if I move it aside, let me select all of it here. Hang on. My graphic should still be under there. If I want to draw anything, I could do that. So let me undo and put that back on top. I'm going to delete the white. So if I select here, I can see that down here, just the white is selected. So I can come here and delete it. And then I would have to draw in this particular case, the little sleeves. So I could do my digitize outline shape tool, hit shift so I get maybe a little curve. I want a curve across there. So when I have shift selected, let me backspace here. It'll give me lines, and if I don't have it, it'll give me curves. So there we go. So I could create my sleeve this way. Let's make it this pink here. Let's select it, this pink here, and delete that part. I don't want an outline. There we go. So you can create, if you have a mishap like that, of course you can fix all your stitching here. So that was a JPEG. If I go back in here and I open a PNG, it's going to give me the same thing, and I could auto digitize. I could pick any of these other ones if I wanted to. I don't know how well it would look as paint stitch, but we could try that one. There we go. So now it's more of a thread work, and you can see it there. You could work with it. Here, when you bring in a paint stitch, though, you can make it artwork from this point and make some other changes to it. So we're going to go back in here. So a PNG, again, would be auto digitize if you wanted. Again, you would come in here to accuracy. Maybe I'll bump that accuracy up a little bit. Please see if we get that sleeve. My color limit, let's say 6 in here. And then I'm going to hit trace. Yeah, it's not taking those little sleeves again and the inside part. So those would be things I would have to add if I don't have this as an SVG. Let me show you the SVG. SVGs are vector graphics. They auto convert. So you only have to double click on them and they open up. Look at that, also nice. Then I can just select parts of this. Maybe I would like to make this look more like it's knitted. I could use my stitch flow tool over here for direction and maybe move those this way, or maybe I'll move them this way a little bit. There we go. And then on the other parts, if I, maybe I don't want this part to look knitted, I could come in here and pick a different piece in there. So you can make all those changes, color changes if you want. You can add in, if you wanted to add in a design in here, let me undo what we did here, like that. If I create a little shape, and let's see, I'm going to make a little star. There we go. And then I'm going to click and drag my little star. I'm going to select it, delete the outline, and then I'm going to make the star a different color to start with. I would like to make it, let me see, down here. Maybe this little orangey color. There we go. Now I'm going to have the star selected. I'm going to select this inner part here. I'm going to right click, and right down here it says array, and I could use the outline, create an outline from those shapes so there'd be stars on the edges, or create a fill. So I'm going to create a fill. There we go. So now the inside of my little garment here has stars in it. I can go back to my properties. I can play with the shape tool over here. Maybe I want it to be more circular. There we go. I can change rotation of them, all of those kinds of things right there. So then I have that cute little side of mine. It doesn't have any background fabric. I would have to add stitches to that if I wanted to put anything behind it. One of the ways to do that, if I undo all of this, if I copy paste this, let's copy paste it, and then the top copy, I'm going to turn it this like purpley color, and then oops, my little shape over here, I'm going to make that the that orange color again. Oh, I don't want both of those selected. Let's ungroup those. There we go. Just select this one, and now we'll make it a dark purple. There we go. So now if I select that and the orange part, and I right click and I do array, fill from shapes, there we go. Now my shapes are on top of the original. That's pretty cool. So it's a lot of fun. Your SVGs, your AIs, all of those will convert more cleanly. Because they're vectors, they're lines and curves, where your JPEGs, PNGs, all those kinds of things, those are rasters. They're like bitmaps. They're little tiny pixelated pieces. So it has to look at all those little parts to make its decision what it's going to do. This one here, this is a PNG, so I'm going to open this one and I'm going to auto digitize it. And I think I'm going to see if I can move the DPI up to like 200. That may give it a little more sharp lines. Here we go. Okay. And then over here, my accuracy will be 5. My color limit is going to be 2. going to take a moment to render. There we go. On this one, I could, let's see what happens if I do background out here. Let's see what it does. Yeah, it doesn't want to take, oh, so now it gave the inside part another color. So that's okay. We can work with that. And let's see what happens when we say trace. And see, with that dark color in here, you lose all of that part of it. So I'm just going to delete that. So this is where you have to make some decisions with your pieces. Black and white ones, I typically do not remove. As I said earlier, I do not remove. I'm going to leave it at the 110. I do not remove the background, and I'm going to give it a 2 here and let it do its thing, and then trace. There we go. So now to remove the white, if I just click on the white, I'll back up so you can see, just this outer part is selected and just the white is, so the black is going to stay. So I'm going to delete it. And now I have just this inner part. So these are little sections. Now I can, pretend I'm like a color, working with a coloring book, and I could go through and select different parts and make them colors. Now, if I wanted to just have the black outlines, they're not really outlines here. They are considered a fill here. I'm probably a satin. Let's see. Yeah, a satin fill over there. So I'm going to select the whole thing. Well, if I don't do that, if I try to select just the white here, I'll show you what happens. Select by color, and it selects the white. And if I hit delete, it takes it all away except for where I put color in over there. So I'm going to undo that. If you have a graphic that's like this, or even a letter, when you select that, when you try to remove the inside of a letter and it goes around, you can select all of this. You can right click and then come down here to shaping and trim. And then now you should be able to go around and delete the white parts like that. You could try to select by color to get all of them and delete. There we go. Some of these probably needed a little more work to be separated, so I could select them again. Let me get the whole part of it, and shaping and trim, and then I probably can delete. Oh, I got to ungroup something, maybe not, or break apart. So that, oops, excuse me, cancel that. So you have options when you're working with things like this to use them as outlines, or you can fill in your areas. So now all the black is connected as one. I could, if I just wanted that part of the mandala, let me see if I do a copy paste. I could pull this off over here. And let me see what's going on. There we go. And now I didn't take the little circles. Now I could work with this and play with this a little bit more. If I needed to work like you could make this edit nodes, you could play with all the nodes. That's a lot of nodes to play with. I don't think I'd want to play with those nodes. It's a pretty well done design. But once you get it out here, if you do break apart, things get a little tricky too. So you have to, now I could go back through and put in different colors like I was before in these spaces and change them to different colors in here. This might look better if I just took the whole thing and made it this color here so you could see it better. There we go. So you have options. You just have to watch what types of things that you bring in, and that's how you're going to work with them. This one here, this is a JPEG. So if I double click on it, this might be interesting because it has a lot of stuff going on in it. It looks like a tile to me, like a ceramic tile. So I'm gonna leave, it's pretty big. It's 11 by 11. I could make it a little smaller in here, but let's see what happens when I go to do okay. We'll see. And my accuracy. Now, accuracy, a high accuracy will give you sometimes more extra lines in your design. So it will help fill in some areas with your lines. But sometimes if you go with less, you lose the definition. So 5 makes it a little sharper. Going to a lower number would make it have less. So our color limit here, 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to say 6 because I think we're pretty close. 6 or 7. Let me try 7, and then trace. There we go. Ooh, this came out pretty nice. Look at that. So now the whole thing that's really pretty. It's too big for this hoop. I could select it and I could just use the corner to bring it down, and then I could go up here to my CM17 and center it. I can still see the graphic. If I want the graphic to go away, I would go to View, Backdrop, Hidden, and then I would just have my tile. This looks lovely. So now you could come in here and give things texture if you wanted, using properties and your patterns on there. So you can see a slight little texture on there. And if you use your stitch flow tool, you can sometimes, by making making the texture go in a different direction, you'll see more of that texture. So if I did this over here, let's see, that was star 7. If I went here and chose, I think it was this one. There we go. So you can see it matches that one. I might want to go back and change my stitch flow direction just a little bit, one of the ways here. There we go. Just to make it a little sharper to match the one that's over there. So let's back out and take a look at this. Isn't that fun? So it's all about the graphic, the clip art that you bring in, what, your outcome and how much work you're going to have to do. Let me see what else I have in here. This works pretty much like coloring in, filling in the colors. And my color limit here, maybe 6 again. 6 is a good number. Always remember to change your color limit because you don't want it to try to make a lot of color. So here we go. All the shapes are very nice. I could delete the background color if I didn't want to stitch that out. Maybe I was going to stitch this on a piece of dark fabric. So let me go ahead and I'm going to close the backdrop, make it hidden. And then in my fabric, I'm going to change the color in here to maybe blue just for now. So if I was going to stitch this on something blue, I could see what it looks like. And now I could go through and make colors and add in the anything I would like from properties, maybe different patterns. Maybe that's going to be a net fill. Who knows what I'm going to do? Maybe I'm going to make this into a very busy applique. I don't know. And I could do something special with the eye. So it just gives you a little bit more to work with and to think about when you're working with your clip art. Clip art is basically graphics. Let me go ahead and I'm going to put the camera back on. So really when people say photographs, graphics, that's a graphic. It comes in as a graphic. Photographs are they are pixelated. So that's why when you bring in a photograph and you convert it to stitches, there's like tons of little spots in there. And I always tell people, when you bring it, if you can take it into another program first and clean it up a little bit, then bring it in, you have a cleaner conversion, much, much better. But if you don't, and you can't do that, what you need to do is zoom way in and go through and pick out, there'll be like little 3 stitches here and 3 stitches there. Go through and take those all out of there. You don't want those in there. And then you can work with your piece. You can always bring it in as a backdrop and then create your parts from there if you wanted to. There's lots to do. Or turn it into paint stitch. I'm going to be doing some more things on paint stitch as we go along too. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Hope to see you again next week as we do more with our Artistic Digitizer. Bye for now.